want to talk. Welcome back, hopefully, to I Want to Talk. You know who I am. To the right of me, you may or may not know, you should know, is a legend in, as far as I'm concerned, my wife, Suzette. 43 years we've been together, and before I've never had the opportunity, one of you guys suggested, what about interviewing Suzette? And I wish I remember who it was. I'm sorry, my apologies that I don't. It was actually weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and I didn't get a chance we didn't have a chance to do it. We're down here in Belize in our house, hence the mural in the back. It's very, very oceany. And we finally getting a chance to talk and answer the questions that you submitted to me on Twitter. Yes, I have a website. Yes, I have a phone number. I know neither of them by heart, so I'm just telling you, the best way right now to get a hold of me is at D. Snyder on Twitter. And by the way, she's at Suzette_Snyder in case you want to write to her. She doesn't really pay attention to those things. Okay? And one thing before we get going is I just want to emphasize, I appreciate them getting more and more of your subscriptions to the podcast. If you're checking the podcast out for the first time or just feeling it out, that's cool. Enjoy it for free. But if you find yourself being a regular watcher, listener, please consider subscribing. I believe it's like $9 a month at Gas Digital Media, $7 for the first few months is a special. You could try it out. And it keeps the show going because if the show doesn't get regular subscribers, not just free users, but subscribers, the show's not going to continue on. And by the way, people who subscribe, you get it early. You get access to all the other podcasts on Gas Digital Media, and there's some great ones. And you also don't get any commercials because now I'm getting advertisers, which is great for me. But if you subscribe, you don't have to suffer through that. And you get bonus footage. And I'll tell you right now with this week's bonus footage, the biggest question that you people asked about is the band Krampus. I call them Krampus. I won't call them by their actual name. I'll say it once, Crocus. That's it. But those, apparently you guys have read my book or follow me and know me, but a lot of people know it's a story that involves Suzette on a very personal level and wanted to know what the deal is, what from her point of view, the story is, what happened with her and me and the band Krampus. That's going to be the bonus footage. So if you want to hear that story, you want to hear Suzette's opinion on that, you're going to have to subscribe to the show. But I got a bunch of your questions. Suzette, say hello.
Hello.
There she is.
I feel weird talking on a mic.
Yes, but this is what we have to do. And I feel weird reading from the questions, but I want to get you questions. And a lot of you people just have your screen names on Twitter, so I really can't give you credit for what you're saying. Now, okay, this first question I love because Suzette and I, we ran through just like questions that she felt she had something to say or questions she didn't. And her response to this first question really just defines the uniqueness of our relationship and the appeal, the odd appeal that she, besides the obvious physical appeal, but that she had to me. Okay, this is great. This came from Jerry P. Okay, and actually more than one person asked about this, but Jerry P. And the question was, what's Suzette's favorite Twisted Sister song? Wild guess, You're Not Alone, which is You're Not Alone, Suzette's song on You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. And then also, what's her favorite D song besides Twisted Sister? So when I brought this question up and somebody else asked, again, who said it was their favorite song, You're Not Alone, Suzette's song, their favorite song. When I brought the question up, Suzette, my love, what was your response?
What song's that?
Would
Can you sing me a few bars?
She didn't remember the song.
No.
And actually, the other person I don't know why I thought I had both those questions here said, when did you first hear that song? And I said, Suzette, you remember I wrote "You're Not Alone" for you, and besides, what was that? Do you remember when I first played it for you? It was at our wedding. So I wrote a song for my love of my life called "You're Not Alone," and we twisted, recorded it. This was before the albums came out. We got married in 1981, right?
I don't know if you could tell, but I'm blushing because it sounds like a horrible thing. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
And we met in 76, by the way, April 16th, 1976. That's our 43rd wedding anniversary. So that just passed. Not wedding, our 43rd anniversary of meeting. No, this is going to show after.
Oh, okay.
So it's like in 2 days. And we do celebrate it because we didn't get married for like over 5 years.
6, I thought.
Yeah, whatever it was. We got married in 81. Yeah. We met in 76. So whatever it was, 5 and change, I think. So we celebrate the day we met because that was a significant day. That was my life changed. Her life changed. She didn't realize her life was going to change as much as it did. So I recorded this song with Twisted Sister in 1981 and played it at our wedding. Suzette did not remember the song and did not remember when it was played. So clearly, it's not one of her favorites.
No.
Okay. Well, what is your favorite song?
Oh, God, I hate saying
one of your
these
favorites.
Things. Okay, I'm not a big Twisted fan musically. So I'm a big Dee fan, but I'm really musically not a big Twisted fan.
You love us live, though. You always thought that you saw us live. You say this. The first thing
there's
is that
aspects of the band that I love. Musically, really not my cup of tea, but I love him. That's all that matters.
She loves me, and then okay, so this is there's a few important things going on here. Make sure you're talking to Mike. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's very because you used to having a clip on.
Let's see. I would have to say my favorite Twisted song is "The Price."
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's a great song.
That one's inspired.
And Statutory Date is another one.
Statutory Date. That's from Love Is for Suckers.
That's my favorite album. Actually, I have a lot of favorite songs on Love Is for Suckers, but I haven't listened to it in a long time, so I can't remember any of them. There's a few on there though.
Yeah, Hot Love is on there.
Hot Love.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I gotta explain the appeal of this woman again beyond physical, and I saw her.
Can I just interrupt for a minute?
Yeah.
Any women that are out there watching this, men always want what they can't get. Remember it. Go ahead now. Tell the story.
All right. So when I met her, she had. I quickly discovered an incredible. Besides no interest in me, didn't care about music. She liked music. Listened to music, but kind of radio music. She loves music, but not didn't have a band obsession. Didn't own a stereo. Didn't own any albums. And this really attracted me oddly. And as
men want what they can't have.
Yeah, but I like the fact that she wasn't a groupie. She wasn't a music fan. There are girls who just like to be with guys who are in bands because they're in bands. That had no appeal to her, and I really love those things about her. That said, once we started dating, the level of support she had for me is unparalleled. I mean, she would be at every show right in the front, and there was nobody there. We didn't meet. Twisted wasn't popular. We were not, nobody there. But she would, when nobody was there, standing, clapping, cheering, she was there standing, clapping, cheering. To this day, if you see her at a concert, it may be an arena, she may be at the soundboard, she's still back there cheering and singing along and clapping. She'll listen to my new music. She plays it on her iPod over and over, even though she doesn't love it because it's my music. She's loyal. Yeah,
I'm
she's
loyal.
loyal. So,
And supportive.
okay, talking to microphone. Sorry.
And supportive.
Would you are very supportive and on many levels. The other part of the question was,
Wait a minute, I got to interject for a second. The reason why I was at every show was because he was at my school waiting for me to pick me up to take me to a show.
it is true. Year one, I would pick her up at school. She was 15. I was 21. After school every day, I was that big dude that was picking up the hot high school girl.
So
you remember that guy? That's me now. I remember when I was in high school, there was girls who had the high school, the guys who were out of school picking them up. Now I'm that guy.
So I really didn't have a choice, did I? I had no choice. I was
No,
going.
it was intense, but it was meant to be, right? Right, honey?
It was meant to
It
be.
was meant to be. 43 years.
I have to tell him that. It makes him feel better.
Oh no! She doesn't
'cause
say
he
that.
was
Now she's gonna
21.
fill me with self-doubt.
And I was 15.
You admit it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be.
It was silly, but it was meant to be. So the other part of the question was, what other non-Twisted Sister song? Do you have any non-Twisted Sister song that you like by me?
All of them. Since he left Twisted.
Yeah, well, you were listening to some
Oh,
Desperado.
I love Desperado.
Widowmaker,
I loved-
not so much.
I loved Widowmaker.
Widowmaker?
too, though. I loved your.
Dee does Broadway. You love that.
I
You
love
liked and you
certain songs.
certain songs.
Yeah, certain songs I'm not crazy about. I love them all.
So she's very supportive, but in a non-specific way. Okay, so but I'm cool with that.
You know, it's if your husband works in a bakery and he bakes all these delicious things, and there's a lot of them you don't like. It's like that, you know. Some you like, some you don't.
There you go.
But you eat them anyway.
There you go. She eats them anyway.
You eat them anyway.
All right. So here's a question that, and again, realize just a little history on Suzette. If you don't know, I'm assuming that most of you, I have a feeling right now, a lot of my people watching this are people who know the history. But I met her, she was 15. I was 21. We started dating. We'll get to how she started to make costumes for me, but by 16, she was making costumes for me. By 17, she was making them for Twisted Sister, the entire band. She was on payroll, and she made all the costumes. She helped with the hair. She helped, my hair, she did my hair, but the other guys helped with the makeup. She doesn't like to take credit for it because she thought it was pretty hideous. And she did the costumes. She did the Bone logo. There's some questions on all this stuff, and I'll get to them. Over the years, for all those years, she was the woman behind the man and the band. So she's been, very supportive and very integral part of what we became, how we looked, and how we evolved. You going to say something?
No.
Okay. So here's one from Pig Kids, PYG Kids. What would you want the younger generation to learn and take away from your experience in the music industry?
You know, this is something that we tell our kids all the time. Anything you want to do that you enjoy doing, it takes work, and you're going to have to work your ass off. And, and hopefully your dreams will come true. But even if they don't come true, you'll enjoy doing it, right?
Yeah, and exactly. Follow your passion. But one thing I get asked a lot, and I know you have thoughts on this, is how is it you think it's different today
Oh, it's totally
than it
different
was?
today. The music industry.
Is it harder?
Well, for me, you mean costume-wise and makeup-wise?
Well,
or you
just
mean,
what you observe, yeah.
Well, to make it nowadays in the music business is pretty ridiculous. It's hard. It's brutal. We have a son, Jesse, if you guys are familiar with him, who's trying to make it, and it's completely different. They've took the fun out of it. They've made it so difficult for anyone to make any money, right? It's even him. I'm watching him, and he's, big rock star. It's not the same.
Yeah, I'm often shocked by the fact that what I got paid in the earliest days, and I'm not talking about Twisted Sister, because Twisted made bank in the bars, in the clubs. What I got paid when I was starting out, which like you would get $300, a band would get. That's like top dollar right now for if you don't have to sell tickets to play. To get paid $300, bands are still getting paid $300. It just blows my mind. I'm talking about the early 70s,
But-
and this is the 2019.
But this is something that, as an audience and as fans of music, should realize. Your support is what supports the bands. And I hear over and over, there's no good music coming out. There is, but you just don't get to hear it. And it's a shame because I meet young bands all the time who have no money. They're completely broke.
There's no access to the music
Yeah,
anymore.
It's really difficult. And I think as supporters of rock and roll or any kind of music you listen to, we need to support our music, and we have to support them. We have to start paying for
Especially
their-
young bands.
Yep.
If we don't support the young bands, it's like, I know it's kind of a stupid analogy. I call it a Christmas tree farm. But you can't have full-grown Christmas trees unless you plant baby ones and you water them and you nurture them and they grow. Right now, all the bands a lot of you people like, we're aging out. We're aging out.
Yep.
And where are the baby bands that are going to take over? Where are those bands? I'm telling you, she's seen it. We go to concerts with our kids. We've seen great young bands, but they're not getting the attention. They're not getting the care.
They're unique. They're creative. They're influenced by the older rock stars.
What about the costumes? You mentioned that.
That's a big problem for me because I'm very visual, and that's what I love about Twisted. I just feel that the younger generation, they're very bleh. But I think a lot of it is because they don't have the money to support buying costumes or clothes. You can't afford to make costumes nowadays. You can't.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, but I definitely think that needs to change.
I want to tell you about my newest sponsor, Earpiece. Have you ever heard your ears ring after a loud show? Your sonic hangover may be a sign of a permanent hearing loss. The good news, noise-induced hearing loss is 100% preventable. Sure, you could stop going to concerts, but who wants to do that, right? Earpiece high-fidelity earplugs are precision-engineered to lower the volume without distorting the music. Very cool. You get full spectrum sound, just at a safer, more comfortable level. For years, I didn't use any ear protection, and my hearing suffered because of it. But thankfully, for things like Earpiece, for products like Earpiece, I can save the hearing that I have left. Thank God for Earpiece. And here's what's great about it. High-fidelity audio, the proprietary attenuation filter technology, say that 3 times fast, delivers clear, crisp sound. HD includes medium, high, and max protection filters set so you're ready for any environment. The comfort. You'll forget you're wearing Earpiece. The dual flange design gently seals the ear with no hard edges. Earpiece uses safe, soft, premium silicone that is hypoallergenic and reusable. It's discreet. Earpiece is virtually invisible and also comes in your skin tone, so no one will know you're wearing hearing protection. You'll look cool. The low-profile design basically disappears in your ear. And the value? Well, they only use premium medical-grade silicone. Earpiece will not wear out or break. They include an ultra-premium milled aluminum case, which looks really cool, by the way, with 2 chambers, so you always have your spare plug. And trust, there is a reason bands like Metallica, festivals like Lollapalooza, and me, we're using Earpiece. Why? Earpiece hearing protection is professional grade, and they guarantee it 100%. So if you're making music or going to live concerts, you need Earpiece. It's going to save your ears and improve your listening experience. So go to earpiece.com and use promo code D15. You'll get 15% off. Earpiece can save your ears from permanent hearing loss. Once again, that's earpiece.com, EARPEACE, like peace and quiet, and promo code D15 for 15% off. Earpiece. All right, here's a question for you from Mr. Hyab. Would you, could you, should you do it again given the chance? Would you do it? If it said, okay, you got a do-over, would you do this again?
Absolutely. I'm not one of those people that is regrets. I learn from every positive and negative thing I've ever done. And it's been a ride, a great ride, a really scary roller coaster ride. Been ups, downs, a couple of times you want to vomit, scream, I want to
get
get
a good
off.
roller coaster.
It's been a roller coaster ride. I wouldn't change it for anything.
I'm glad you said that.
I have
All right.
choice.
Sailor. She says these things, and then she has me filled with self-doubt. Okay. Sailor Retro says, I would ask Suzette about the sacrifices and rewards that came with your career and life together. Okay, let me finish. It says, what were your own aspirations, and do you feel that you accomplished them?
No.
I know this to be true, so go ahead.
You
Tell
know this
them.
to be true?
Well, no, we've talked about this before.
Okay.
I know you were on one path, and then
Right.
you ran into
Okay.
me.
So when I met him, I was a good girl, kissed two guys, you know.
First words to me. First words when I called her over. I said, hey, Camille. Hey, Camille. She said, I'm a good girl.
I was a good girl.
That's what she said to me, and she was.
But I had no interest in men. To me, I came from a broken family, had no interest in men. And my thing was I was going to be a career woman, and that's all I wanted to do. So my plan was that I wasn't going to have kids until I was 40. I was going to go to Paris. I was going to be a big fashion designer, and that's what my plans were. And then I met him, and I couldn't shake him. I tried everything to shake him. I'll tell you a little story. So I'm dating this man who's 21 and I'm 15 and a virgin and not planning on giving up my virginity for
She's
him.
literally dating a man.
A man. He
Yes.
was a man. So
I
I said
remember
to him,
her grandmother, when I used to pull up to the house, her grandmother would yell in, Suzette, that man's here again.
he was a man, and he was a big man, you know. He was 6'1" with 7-inch platforms, and his hair was like
Big
He
afro.
was like 7 foot and
Okay.
scary. And used to wear skin tight pants, and he was pale.
They were
pale.
fantastic. Go ahead.
Wasn't the best looking guy to look at. So,
Not good.
but he was a very nice guy, really nice. And I knew I wasn't about to have sex with this man. He was 21, and I wasn't having it. So I said to him, listen, when it comes to having sex, don't come to me.
Can you imagine how blue my balls were? I just want to say, this is like exact representation of her at 15. She has changed virtually not at all.
Yeah, I don't know about that. My kids say I gotten prettier, so.
Well, okay. Okay, she got better looking.
So anyway, so one night, and it was pretty crazy because I would go every night to his shows. And on
On the day off.
the day off,
I know now, and now I know what
was
story to go
resting,
with.
and I get a phone call from my mom, and my mom says, guess who, I'm at a bar, and guess who's here with a date? And I go, who? And she goes, D. And I said, can I talk to him for a second? So D gets on the phone and says,
What did it say? I said,
you said,
oh,
you said,
wait.
Too.
Okay, so I've got blue balls, and she told me go find someplace else to fix that. And on an off night, I'm going to fix that. I walk into a club, and her mother's there, hanging out with her cousins. Her mother was very cool.
She was.
Her mother was very young and very cool, and so she gets on the phone and calls her, wakes her up.
Wait, did she ask you for a dime?
Yeah, she actually took a dime. It was a dime for a call. My dime called my girlfriend, told her that she caught me with another girl. And as soon as I get on the phone, and I'm a ham. And what did you say?
I said, okay, that's it. We got to break up.
And I said, but you told me to go someplace else.
Which was really great because I kept trying to break up with him. And this was a great excuse. So that was it. We broke up.
She breaks up with me on the phone. So what did I do? So when did the next time you saw me?
Next morning, my grandmother comes, that man is outside.
I can't lose this girl. I don't know. Look, she was physically beautiful, but there was something beyond. I don't know. She drove me crazy. As a switch thrown, I could not give up. I bought 4 gigantic cups of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts and a dozen donuts. I pulled up in front of her house. I sat out front from like 2 a.m. until 7 a.m. when she got up to go to school. Suzette, that man's out here again. And she looked out the door, and she goes, oh my God, I broke up with him, and he's sitting out in front of the house. And I wouldn't stop begging till she
Okay,
agreed to go back out with me.
We're missing the point.
What is
of
the
question.
point?
The point of the question was, that's how dedicated he was. And I tried to continue on my path for my future, and I couldn't get rid of him. I couldn't shake him. I had no desire, no need for a man. He just got in the way. I just was a woman with a dream.
Ask you to make clothes. I didn't.
No.
I'm
And
just
that was-
saying. This is
that
where it
was
gets
okay.
weird. I didn't ask you to cut my hair.
No.
I think she first just tried to sort of fix me up a little bit when she realized, okay, I'm stuck with this guy. All right, how can I improve on what's going on here? So she started cutting my hair.
No, that's my nature. It's my nature to make things pretty. Look
Fix
better.
things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
And
a fixer.
and I was wearing some basic makeup, and she was the one who got me wearing lipstick. She was the one who got me trying different color eyeshadows and experimenting with the eyebrows and wearing nail polish. She kept pushing me to try things, and the fact that I had a real hot girlfriend, I felt, okay, I'm secure in my masculinity. I can go down this path. And she's the one. Well, I was already wearing some kind of feminine clothes.
Okay, we're missing the point here.
Okay.
Okay, so continue on. I was not planning on getting married. And it took me a really long time to fall in love with him. And all he wanted was kids and a family. And I did not want that. I wanted to be a career woman. I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have kids. But when I fell in love with him, I said, okay, gave up my career and did for him.
But
He became
But-
my career.
I will not argue. I'm saying, but she was making at 16. She was on salary with
Yeah.
Twisted Sister making costumes for our band. So she was being creative.
Yes, but I didn't want to be a costume designer. I wanted to be a fashion designer.
She kicked ass at FIT. She did.
So I wanted to be a fashion designer. I didn't want to live in New York. I wanted to live in Paris. And I didn't want kids. And that was really the killer, is that we had babies. I had my first baby at 22. And I'm loyal. I did not want somebody else raising my son. And there went my career. So my career has lacked willingly.
So
But
the answer is that she had other aspirations and they got sidetracked.
I sidetracked. I mean, they kept coming back, and then I kept having another kid and put that aside again, and I have no regret. I love my life. I love him, and I feel very lucky. But no, it's not what I thought I'd be doing.
All right, here's one for you. There's a Twitter handle called Twisted in the Clubs, and they're obviously fans from the day back in the day, and they are so they tend to post a lot of pictures from back in the day before the band broke, and the band appreciates it because it shines a light on something most people don't know about. Suzette, of course, does. And Twisted in the Clubs want to know, what was your favorite era of costume design? So they're not just asking about if it's in the clubs. They're saying whatever. What was your favorite era of design?
This is before you guys hit it.
No.
right?
They're actually asking.
Oh, come out and
It
play.
could be anything.
Definitely.
Come out and play?
Come out and play, for sure. In the clubs, I would say the flame costumes.
Well, in the clubs,
Ladies' Boy, the flame costumes, that was...
yeah, individually. That was before you started getting. They started to have a theme
yeah,
almost.
yeah.
At some point, I guess around after Bad Boys, I think probably 81.
Before Bad Boys, because it was
more
before.
themes. No, the flames and the chiffon and all that stuff. That was before Bad Boys. Bad Boys, we started to have a cohesive look. Then, and you said she wasn't a big fan of Bad Boys.
No,
that was something that I wanted to do. But then we started with the theme with the Indian feathers and the theme with the fringes and the theme with the studs. We all had variations and we got colors.
We were like the Supremes. We were the Supremes, 3 different outfits. Yeah, that was kind of hard.
But your favorite was Come Out and Play.
Yeah, Come Out
It was
and Play.
pretty. That was a
Come
great.
Out and Play was great.
We really had,
Genius. I'm very impressed with myself on those costumes.
we really had like money and freedom to really let ourselves go
Yeah, it was
on that one, and tying the costumes with
Oh
the
my
stage
God,
show.
the stage show.
and the album cover,
it's
everything.
Such a shame that people did not see that.
Yeah, it didn't.
That
Not
was
enough people
just-
got to see
I
that.
mean, even the album cover. You know, us doing the album cover. I remember we went there. How long were we there that I got you ready and I had wrapped him up in gauze and
Oh,
and put
yeah,
the
yeah, that
fake
was a photo
nails
shoot
on
with
you.
Mark Weiss, yeah.
That was really cool.
Okay, so that's where that draping came in handy.
Yeah.
By the way, Jim Amato had a similar question. He was, what was your favorite TS look that you designed? You just said that. Have you worked with any other bands?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and I don't want to open the Krampus can of worms, but you've worked with other bands?
Yes, I have.
Anybody? She has only nobody. I don't think any.
Opera singers, Howard Stern.
Yeah.
A lot of bands you guys would never have heard of. So yes, I have.
And what was your least favorite Twisted tour?
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys of Rock
Bad
and Roll.
Boys.
That was pre our first album.
How we used to come up with ideas, Dee and I would sit and we would talk, and Dee would talk about which direction he wanted to go in, and then I would go and I sketch up a bunch of designs and then discuss it with Dee, and then Dee would say, I like this or I don't like that. And then I'd go and I'd draw a bunch of different designs for the guys in the band, and then they'd pick what they want.
Her, and you'll correct me if I'm saying this wrong because I've quoted it many times, but her thing is to make you the best of what you want to be. And that's how be the best you can be. But if you want, whatever a client comes in and says, we're looking to achieve this look, then she would figure out how to help you achieve that look in the best possible way.
Well, what I'm really good at is hiding people's flaws and bringing out their best quality. Like, you know, I can make Dee's costumes that he looks completely ripped and
yeah,
I'm really good
all
at
those
that.
abs, fake. That was the cut of the shirt.
No,
but
it's
it's true.
true. It's
There's
true.
the degree of truth. She always like, if you were wide, you wouldn't get horizontal
No.
stripes. You got a long coat or something. She would always figure out how to make you the best you could be. So it wasn't
I'm really good at
the
that.
costume. Really good. The costumes though weren't necessarily reflective of her particular taste
No.
as much as what I was trying to, a direction I wanted to go in.
And what the guys in the band liked.
Yeah,
You know,
and
Eddie
then-
always liked the cutoff, you know. Eddie has great arms. And that's a big key, is that you want to emphasize great qualities that an artist has to enhance them and bring them out.
and the things they feel best about that makes them feel
and
most
that's
confident.
the key, is that when you're working with an artist, you want them to feel comfortable no matter what. Even if what they're wearing, they really don't look good. But if they think they look good, that's what you got to do. Because at the end of the day, they have to sell it. And it's all about selling it as an artist. If they feel good about themselves, other people feel that. And I'm really good at that.
Right. Chad S.
Chad S.
said, who wore it better? And since we've only worn one piece of clothing, but we both wore the legendary, and it's legendary to some people in my book,
You did.
get out of here.
You did.
What are you talking about?
You wore it best.
Oh my
You could
God.
see your breasts. You could see my breasts.
Talking about this fantastic one shoulder knit.
Women, that is the ultimate diss.
Wasn't a diss.
Ultimate.
She wore this amazing top, looked so great. And next time she came to the club wearing it, I was wearing the same top. And shortly thereafter, she started making costumes.
It was
so that was
terrific.
it was kind of an embarrassing moment.
And he was so happy. He's dancing on stage going,
We can't imagine. I came on stage. I was so excited. We were wearing the top. One shoulder. It was fantastic. It looked much better on her. She wore it better, but you could see it. And if you think I'm kidding, go look in the. We don't see both of us wearing it. It's in
no,
my
because
book.
I burnt mine right after.
It was in my book.
Actually, I don't think right after I went in the parking lot and burnt it.
Okay. Denton Williams says, which costume that I wore took the most effort for you to make me wear? So you made me a lot of costumes. He's saying,
I
Did you-
understand what he's saying.
you
I'm
know.
trying to remember. That was a long time ago. I would have to say probably the first ones, because the first ones were really outrageous, and he wasn't used to wearing clothes like that, even though he really didn't give me a hard time. But
no, she made me a whole bunch of costumes
They were
after I wore
really-
her shirt. They were insane.
they were crazy.
And And I don't remember ever questioning wearing them. There's one I remember that was this short, and it was yellow satin with purple sequins and a purple feather boa. And it
was crazy.
Was it there's gloves that went with it?
You know what? There was only once that I made you clothes that flamboyant. Notice I'm keeping the word gay out.
Yes.
Flamboyant.
Well, as in festive. And I remember Eddie Ojeda saying to me, "Aren't you embarrassed to wear that stuff on stage?" And I said to him, "She made it. I'm wearing it." And it was insane. It was outrageous. But what happened was, I very quickly started to dominate the band as a figure because her outfits was so over the top.
Eye-catching.
And the band realized that they were getting upstaged by me with these outrageous outfits. And the ever pragmatic JJ French quickly...
We stepped up the game.
Yes.
Then
But approached Suzette and
then
said...
we had to step up the makeup. Then we had to step up the hair. So everything went with
But
it.
he hired Suzette to work for the band. So she was constantly making costumes for everybody in the band and clothes.
Which was hard because I was only 16 and in college.
You were going to school, and we had a little shop set up in our apartment. We were living
Sweatshop.
together at that point.
I had a sweatshop.
Yes, she was
Literally, I had glasses with elastic attached to them to hold on the glasses.
I locked that. I had the door padlocked. All right, here's one. Well, I just want to acknowledge that Sean DeHaan also asked about the knit top. That came up a bit. Rob Wallace says, "What the hell were you thinking when you said yes?"
To which thing?
I guess marrying me.
Okay. What happened was this. I'm not the kind of woman that likes to hear a man tell me what to do. And what happened was I went away to college, FIT in the city, and Dee went and got an apartment across the street from my college to keep an eye on.
She was not getting away from me. I got an apartment directly across the street from her school.
So now I'm in college and I'm working for Twisted. Plus I'm working for other people as well. So I'm working. And I had a sweatshop in his apartment with my sewing machine and
With
everything.
one person making clothes.
Yes,
That was her.
yes. So my father called up the dorms looking for me. And I'm from an Italian family, and I was only 16 or 17. I was 17 at the time. And my dad found out that I hadn't been in the dorms in 3 months and flipped out and threatened to send me away to school. So that weekend, he came and proposed to me, and I said yes. But I only said yes to fuck my father. I wasn't planning on marrying him.
There were so many moments in time where she could have slipped away. And because of timing, which was amazing, because it was meant to be, I didn't know that this was going on. But I was already got the ring, and we were engaged for 5 years.
Long time.
Before we got married.
Well, 21, I was 21.
Right, and we
this
were
was
living together by the
17.
time you were 17. So it was about 4 years, whatever it was. We were engaged for quite a while, but I wanted to put a ring on it, as a friend of ours once said, who shall remain nameless, and lock this shit down.
Yeah, but
I
wasn't
said
locked.
yes to get her father, to put off her father, but then cut to 4 years later, and we're headed down the aisle.
Well, it took me, I actually fell in love with him a year before we got married. Before that, I wasn't planning on marrying
I
him.
want to say,
But I just got to say this, okay? The main reason why I didn't love him was because through our whole relationship, he was trying to control me. And you know that was the case. He was a jealous maniac, and I'm not one of those
still having
girls
nightmares.
that...
She's never done anything to deserve the nightmares. She's never done anything to, virtually anything to make me jealous. Occasionally on purpose, just to fuck with me, but never done anything really wrong. But I found a unicorn, and I don't want anyone else riding it.
I couldn't be with anybody who was that jealous and.
I mellowed out quite a bit.
He would.
I mellowed out quite a bit.
I remember that his roommate was having a party, and my term project was due in FIT.
And I had a gig that night.
And he had a gig, and Mendoza was left there
Mendoza wasn't in the band at that time.
to babysit for me.
Yes, to keep guys away.
And this is like the story. He literally had gotten rid of one by one all my friends.
I would have friends who would like stand guard over her.
It was horrible.
I was obsessed. I want to say something in my defense. Her mother, who was a brilliant, lovely woman, may she rest in peace, Jeanette. We love you. We miss you, and that's the fucking truth. But her mother was really nice to me, and she was fighting me like a bronco. She was just like trying to throw me off the saddle.
I tried so many times.
Not literal.
So many times breaking up.
Yes,
with
she
him.
tried everything. It's not getting the details. Okay. But I said to her mom, I said, why were you so nice to me when she wanted to get rid of me? And she said, I knew my daughter was in love with you before she knew she was in love with you. And I said, how did you know that? And she said, it was the way she said your name. When she talked about you, I said, oh my God, my daughter's in love with this guy.
I didn't realize I said shithead so lovingly. Oh, shithead is here.
43 years. I win. I was right. I was right twice in our relationship. That was one of them. The other one is we're not going to take it. She wasn't a big fan of the song. Wrong. Okay. Otherwise, she's always right. Okay.
Not true.
Okay. This is a weird question. I don't know if you have an answer for it or not an answer. Marcy Slidham said, what is the most unnerving thing you have to deal with?
I'll tell you.
So you get that question?
Yeah, I get that question.
Okay.
She's referring to women, which.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time we went to a club. What club was that? The Cat Club?
China Club.
China Club?
In New York,
Oh, China
maybe?
Club. And I was there with our friends, guy who was in Billy Squire at the time, and his wife's my best friend still to this day. And a woman came up to D and sat on his lap, like straddled him over his lap, and he got stiff and like was frozen, and he's like, didn't know what to do. And my girlfriend says to me, she says, don't do nothing, get up and do something about this. And I go, he's a big boy, he can handle this on his own. So yes, that does happen, but that does not bother me because he is a big boy and he's gonna have to handle it on his own because I'm not with him 24/7, and I have to have faith that he'll do the right thing, and if he doesn't, see ya.
I do.
Actually, I don't even know if I stand by that anymore. But anyway, that's what I think I would do.
Well, then at least
But that's not even the question. The thing that kills me the most is that when I go to shows with him, he becomes a different person, and I hate that. I hate being around him on show days, and that's the hardest part.
a bit of a mental case.
And
I'm better than I was, but
You're still not
I was
fun.
really bad.
You were terrible
in the old days.
And it's funny because when Twisted would do their farewell shows the last 2 years, I'd be in the country with them, but I would not go to a show. And JJ and the guys of the band, who are my brothers, and I love them. I mean, they've known me since I was a little kid. And
they love her too.
I
Imagine
love them.
they've known her for 43 years.
Yeah, and I love them. And they would be very insulted that I was coming down to the shows, but I can't stand to be around him on show days.
I'll tell you a little story that sort of plays to that. And and I've apologized to the guys because I just get, particularly with Twisted, it was like worse in Twisted than I am as a solo artist. And I just, Twisted triggers, not the guys, but just the intensity or whatever.
The anger, the professionalism, and this is the key, and this is how I started dressing you guys like monsters, because he is a monster on show days, and this is why. So you could.
So it was one of the last shows in New Jersey, and we arrived. I think you were there for Jersey. It was raining. The Jersey show. I think you were there.
Oh yeah, I was there. Oh, it was
raining.
Terrible.
And we walk in the backstage, and this was like our last local show.
Oh, I remember
and
that.
And the room is filled with people backstage. And I walk in, and the whole room is dead silent. And I walk around the room, And I circle the room, and I'm looking around everybody, and everybody's dead silent. And I get to the end, and I go, I said, why is it like a fucking library in here? And Mendoza goes, because you walked in. And that was the truth. I literally, everybody was having a great time. And then I walked in with my manic mindset, which you guys get. The benefit of that is you get this very intense performance and you love the show.
The best shows is when Dee's angry.
The madder I
They're
am.
my favorite.
When Suzette sees me, like if there's something with the promoter backstage or we're getting fucked, and I like get fucking mad,
he gets
she goes,
crazy.
"Oh, it's going to be a good show today."
I call him the Hulk.
The madder I get, the better the show is.
No, it's true. It's
but
true.
she's not right. I don't know. I just.
But that's the hardest thing, is that.
Well, I think it kind of, Jack Barrel asked, "How do you put up with all the crap that comes with this life?" And you kind of answered.
My personal life, my family life is so much harder than the music life. So I don't really take any of this stuff too hard. And go ahead.
Rich Anthony, what was your inspiration and where do you get your ideas on how to create TS stage clothes, hair, and makeup in the late 70s, early 80s, since there weren't any other bands that looked like Twisted Sister at the time? And thank you for acknowledging that, Rich. You obviously saw Twisted in the bars. So many of the style cues that became very popular, like the tattered jeans and stuff like that, Suzette was on that before
Bon Jovi
anybody
stole
else.
JJ's jacket.
Yeah, before, and Bon Jovi used to come down
And
to
I
see
know
the bands.
John, and he's a great guy.
But Suzette rarely gets any credit for the style things that she started on and off out of rock and roll as well. But they want to know where you would get your inspiration. Well, you said about the fact that we were kind of monsterish. We were not pretty boys.
Well, that's how we got to that point. We didn't start out that way.
No.
I don't know.
At first, I wanted
creative
to be-
minds just think of this crap. I don't know. I guess you know what? I guess I was doing high fashion, but it was on you. I want to be a fashion
Imagine she
designer.
was in school and other girls were working on women's clothing, and she was working on
Well, when I was in BOCES
weird
before
clothes
I went to
for
college.
weird feminine clothing for giant
Yeah.
clothing for her boyfriend.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They were doing like sailor collars.
She
and-
did. One of the things I love about her is she doesn't give a shit.
No, I don't.
She doesn't give a shit what people think.
I
Because there
don't.
are many girls who would have been very embarrassed to be working on a pink jumpsuit with white fringe
No.
for a dude in her school class.
Well, I used to make him clothes that you could see right through, and he'd have all his groupies in the front. And
I didn't even know you could see them
Didn't
with their
bother me.
pastels. And I found out years later that when I sweat and the light hit it,
Oh.
you could see my junk.
It wasn't even sweating. You could see his junk
You
everywhere.
could see my junk.
I actually tried to put a dance belt on
And
him a
I
couple
said
of
back, I said,
times.
did you know I could see my junk? She said, yeah, didn't you know that? I'm like, you could see your junk.
I didn't care.
I remember one of my friends said, I walked in and all I saw was a big yellow banana because I was wearing a yellow jumpsuit that had suspenders and it pulled it right tight into the
It was
crotch.
so cute. He had a little yellow bow tie.
was fantastic.
And yellow gloves.
It was
He
fantastic.
was so cute.
Okay. All right. CJ Mena, CL Mena. In a world where marriage is almost a disposable thing, especially in the entertainment business, how does Suzette Snyder keep yours together?
It hasn't been easy. It really hasn't. 'Cause
No. Marriage is definitely a work of progress, and I have
he's
been a handful.
He's an egomaniac and a narcissist, and he's lucky. I am loyal and patient, and I'm a strong woman. And
You whipped me into shape.
I did. It took me a long time, but he's.
I
Got
would say to her,
he's got a great heart, and he's a good guy under it all. You know, he's got a huge ego, but he's a good guy.
that was the only thing I had going for me. She liked nothing about me, but she said when I first met her, she says, he's a good guy. And
No,
I said,
he's a good guy.
I
He's
said,
got a good
I'm going
heart.
to work with that.
He's got a good soul, and you need an ego to do what he did. And I'll tell you, some of the things that I watched this man be brought down to his knees multiple times, and I wasn't quite sure if he was going to get back up. And he did.
You lifted me up a couple times.
He did, and
You guys wouldn't see it, but behind the scenes, I say we've because
well, it
we've
was-
been a team, and
Yeah.
when something happened to me career wise, it affected our whole life. It affected me, but it affected the economics. We
But
lost
because-
everything at one point. and we
because his
saw-
ego was so attached to everything that he was doing. My ego wasn't attached to it. Listen, I loved him, and I was here for the long road. It didn't matter if he was famous or not famous. You know, I loved him, and I was willing to do anything for him, whether he had money or not. And there was a few times where I didn't know if he was going to get back up, but he did, and I respect him for that. And it made him, Twisted breaking up was the best thing that ever happened to our relationship, because he was a nightmare
the first time.
the first time.
The
yeah.
first time, yeah.
Well, the second time you didn't break it up.
No,
You
we
just-
didn't. We just stopped, retired.
Yeah, you didn't break up. And it was the best thing, because we had broken up, and he just turned into just this person I didn't know. He was not a good person.
I got out of control. It was just everything
He was
fed
in a
that ego that it
dark
just made me
place.
crazy.
Yeah, he was in a
me
dark
crazy.
place.
But
And you know what? Lots of people are in dark places. And when people you love go into dark places, remember they're still in there, and you could help them out. And don't give up on them. And that's really it. Don't give up. And you got to fight. You got to fight for everything in this world. Fight for relationships, friends, husbands, children. I mean, everything's a fight. And just if you open your heart and you love them, it'll work out.
Listen to that woman. I want to, and she knows she's heard this before, but I want to make this point. I don't know why I've had some odd wisdom in my life, and I think it's probably, she's very spiritual. She'll probably say, well, that was some higher power telling you. But I was so confident I was going to make it. And with her not being interested in me, not being interested in music, having to work so hard to win her heart, I said, if I can win her heart, I know I'm going to be famous, and I'll have met a person before I'm famous. I was not famous. And if she loves me, I'll know she loves me for me, not for my money, not for my fame, not for rock and roll, not for any of that stuff. I just knew that. And it was the absolute truth that it worked out. We had nothing, and she was there. We had everything, she was there. We lost everything, she was there. When we lost everything after Twisted Sister lost everything, she was like, okay, I'll go get a job, and went to work. And I never thought for a second, I didn't have any thought that, oh, she may leave me because now I have nothing. It never occurred to me, because I knew she wasn't that person. I knew that I had a person who loved me for me, not for the other bullshit. If anything, the other bullshit got in the way. If the other bullshit absolutely got in the way of that.
But
So.
it was a godsend. And, it was the best thing ever happened to us.
Absolutely.
And for him, too, because his ego was so crushed. He wasn't as, egotistical. So
All right. Bubbles asked your top 5 celebrities on your freebie list. And then, that people have this list where you can.
D.
Thank you. See that. We don't have no fucking list, okay?
No.
There will be no sharing.
Why do you need a list when you have somebody that you're so sexually attracted to? I love him.
Oh, behave. Okay. Okay. Here's this Adrian Willis. That was the person who asked the question about your reaction when I wrote "You're Not Alone," their favorite Twisted Sister track. Well, Adrian, you already know the answer to that. What song is that? Okay. The second song I wrote, a Suzette song too, which is called Suzette song.
My Christmas song?
Oh no! Well, the Christmas song, that was a gift for that.
That's one of my favorites.
No,
that is. Yeah.
Ride Through the Storm, Desperado. I wrote that for
Yeah.
you. That it's about us.
a good song.
About us
See, that
being
one I
together.
remember.
Most people don't know that one. Okay. What? Okay. So, Egos. Are you all right?
Yeah, my legs are
You look
falling
really
asleep.
cute though, curled up there on the first chair. Ego Sum said, what was the hardest part of being partner and spouse of a working musician?
Okay, I'll tell you what the hardest part was and the most fucked up thing. Okay, so this man.
She starts with that, and I'm like going, "Oh shit, why did I do this interview?"
All right, all this man wanted was a family and kids. I think I remember you wanted 12 kids, right?
I read the book Cheaper by the Dozen. I
12
thought it
kids.
might be cool.
So I said 12. I'm not giving you 12, okay? But anyway, so as soon as we get married, I get pregnant with our first kid. I am pregnant with Jesse, and Dee leaves and is on the road for like 5 years straight. And we were broke. We had no money. I was pregnant. He couldn't call me. It's not like now everyone's got an iPhone and you could FaceTime.
It was tough.
That's the toughest thing. And then when he did start to make money, I didn't want to bring my children on the road on a tour bus.
And again, I'm no fun.
No, he's no fun. So
It's
I
not
would
a
say
party.
that's the hardest thing.
You saw Motley Crue The Dirt? As far opposite as you can think.
Yeah.
That's touring
Yeah.
with Dee Snider and
Yeah.
Twisted Sister. It
So-
was not. There's no party except on stage. That's where it happens.
So, I always, when I meet young musicians and they have their girlfriends, and I say it takes a certain type of woman to put up with all this shit. Well, I don't drink, I don't get high, so I wasn't one of those moms home drinking, going to parties. I literally was with my children, and that was it, right? And I forgot where I was going.
Well, I mean, I think you hit on. I mean, it was
I forgot where I was going.
Well, what's the hardest part of being partner and spouse of working musician?
Oh, that's
is him
it.
like going on the road and
Yep.
you've got a family, and then she's left. I mean, I recognize it. To now, okay, when we started disappearing, as you know, for the Disappearing Act, right, which happened shortly after Jesse was born.
Yeah.
We had the little studio apartment. Now I start making money, and now we got houses. Now you got houses to take care of, and and there's responsibilities that go with that, and who's handling that stuff. I know you say, "Oh, didn't you have a gardener?" And didn't you? Yeah, we had people, but there is a responsibility of people cutting the lawn and stuff. But still, if there's responsibilities of a house, and it all falls on you, the cars, everything, it just all falls on you.
Gotta be a strong woman.
Okay.
And I am.
What is Get Calibrated said, what's the hardest part of staying married for 43 years?
There is no hardest part. There is none. I'm more in love with him. We get along better than ever. And we enjoy each other's company. There is no hard part at all. And I feel very lucky and blessed. I tell you, it's funny because a lot of women come up to me and they go, "You're so lucky you're married to him." And I go, "I am, but not for the reasons you think I am." I don't look at him and see a rock star. I never. And maybe I should, because maybe if I looked at him like he was a star, it would change things. But I'm thankful to God. I thank God every day to have somebody like him in my life.
Feelings crazy mutual. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of ups and downs, and a relationship takes work. Life takes work. It can be amazing, but it can be really tough, and it's not easy. And the fact that so many couples fall by the wayside and don't survive is testament to the fact that it's not easy. And to be here 43 years later, be happier together, closer than we ever were, more in love than we ever were. Our kids are all grown up, and now we have each other. We're blessed.
The best part is he makes me laugh.
We laugh.
I laugh a lot.
We laugh a lot. But what you said was really important. It's funny because women, I see it in social media, whatever. Oh, Suzette's so lucky. And Suzette says, and yes, I am, but not for why you think I'm lucky.
Right.
It has nothing to do with fame, fortune, success, or whatever. It has to do with who you're left with. And, and same goes for me, with her. It's the person. People talk about how hot she is and how beautiful she is, and she's a grandmother of 4 now. It's unbelievable how good she looks, but at the end of the day, that's not who you're left with. It's the person inside, and are you guys compatible? Do you get along inside? That's what at the end of the day, that's all you got.
And I think the big problem with couples that break up is that you lose the appreciation for each other. You know, you no longer see the good qualities, you only see the negative ones. And that's a big problem with couples, I think.
Yeah. Start focusing on just that. All right. Last question for this, and then we're going to go say goodbye. And then we got our bonus question on Krampus for the people who subscribe to the show. This is interesting. You said Jadine Ryan says, any and all thoughts on your logo design? Had you ever done that sort of thing before Twisted Sister? And what was your influences when it came to designing that logo? So Suzette is responsible for the Twisted Sister Bone logo. That is very well known. It's been everywhere. And it's the most known version of the Twisted Sister logo there is. And Suzette drew that in 5 minutes with a piece of typing paper and a pen, having just woken up. She was having her morning cup of tea, and I remember she was sitting in a robe, and I said, hey, babe, I need you to, I have an idea for a logo. So this is where the idea, inspiration came from. I said, of doing it in bones. Can you mock up something for me? You know what a mock-up is? It's just like a sample, an idea, like the direction. Could you mock up something for me so I could show it to the art department? And she said, get me a paper and a pen. I didn't have a pencil. And she sat down and drew the Bone logo. So, I mean, I gave you direction and you just visualized it.
Well, I started as an artist before I started as a designer, and I won a lot of awards for my artwork. And just like you come up with any idea, he would direct me, and I would just follow orders like a good
Oh, I remember
girl.
that one. We did this great. My friend had a
Kangaroo.
kangaroo claw that was half rotted and decayed, and all the bones and sinew, and he shellacked it. It was really cool.
It was cool.
And she asked if she could draw it, so she had. She was a really good
I'm
artist.
Look, a creative mind, we've done so many things. I mean, I've done theatrical makeup, I've done costumes, I've done hair, I've done lots of things. Interior decorating now. So a creative mind just creates, and that's what it does. And anybody who's creative out there knows that's what your brain does. That's what my brain does. I create. And it just popped in my head.
So
and I got lucky.
The end of the story. So she does this quick sketch. It was quick, 5 minutes. Think about, okay, well, when you realize, now I bring it to the art department and go, this is the idea for the logo for this tour. And I'm thinking they realize I'm saying, run with this idea. This is a general direction. You're the art department. When we got back, I don't know where I got back from, I saw the finished album cover, her Bone logo.
Never got a penny for that, JJ.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, JJ. Her Bone logo, exactly. They didn't render it. They didn't copy it. They mimeographed it. They photocopied it right on the album cover. And it went onto T-shirts. It went onto backdrops. It's to this day the 5-minute Bone logo that she sketched with a pen, half asleep. And when I had to break the news to her that it was on the album cover, I knew she was going to be mortified, and she was. She was like, people are going to say, like I'm saying now, she designed that, she drew that, but
I would have put some more time into it.
Speaking to the mic, yes, she would have spent 10 minutes. No, I mean, she's a perfectionist. This was with a pen, you can't like erase.
It's
shade,
just like, you can't shade.
You can't. It's just like what you just came out. So to this day, when you see a Bone logo, remember Suzette was half asleep, drinking a cup of tea, wearing a fuzzy bathrobe. So I remember it was kind of bluish, and just like this, sketching away. And to here, how about that? Like perfect, great idea. That's the idea. They say thank you, JJ.
Yeah, JJ, I'm waiting.
Waiting for the check. She's waiting for the check. So, all right. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you, Suzette, for being here on I Want to Talk. And you're lucky to have this woman here.
I just want to say, if anyone asks me questions on Twitter or Instagram, I'm not good at reading them.
Yeah, it's not. It's
And
probably
I
not gonna
don't
answer.
go on Twitter a lot or Instagram. Like you said, I'm kind of spiritual, and I just not into social media. So.
All right, so don't forget, subscribe, please. Go to Gas Digital Media. There's buttons on the downloads. You can see where to subscribe. Right now, the best way to write to me is through Twitter, because I check that. And next time I'll have the email addresses and stuff for you. Until next time, so I Want to Talk.